getting better with time. People folding around me. I am one of a kind. Introvert, call me art. Swear so shine if the work don't work. Deck don't flirt, black t-shirt. I'm tryna hide that a bum nigga lurk. I'm not coming out tonight, but I'll be up till the sunrise. Torches don't impress me, don't address me, don't use.
I haven't started on the Lontalia stuff yet. I'm getting the files next week, I think. And I could ask. I mean, if they're cool with it, I'm cool with it. I'll ask them. I always ask first. I mean, it's not my place to just like stream someone else's mixes. But Ness told me it's cool.
I am one of a kind. Introvert, call me art. Swear so shine if the work don't work. Deck don't flirt, black t-shirt. I'm tryna hide that a bum nigga lurk.
I don't think I'm gonna speak at schools anymore for a while. I do like a little bit of parallel compression, but it's like just like this one doesn't even have it. But I never did it because it already sounded good, but I do it on there. Because they sound too loud? I don't know. Listen to everything in like 4 different places, and then find somewhere in the middle of all of them. Or find a sound source you trust. Like I trust these. And these, but I don't really use them anymore. I use these now. But I don't know if I even trust these anymore. I usually just mix on these.
I hope they be gone by now. Tryna glow up, half full cup, but I'ma spill it all if you tell me pull up in the middle of the club. Lonely fuck, tryna glow up with the.
I mean, I have better headphones than those if I wanted to talk about them and do an ad. Like these are way more expensive than these are more expensive. But I never use them. They're better. I just use what's good. It works for me. Until it's done.
Only getting better with time.
Look, I bought them toys. Nothing to freak out.
Introvert, call me out. Swear so shine if the work don't work. Deck don't flirt, black t-shirt. I'm tryna hide that a nigga lurk. I'll be up till the sunrise. Torches don't impress me, don't address me, don't stress me now. Like I don't keep doing what you're doing anytime. I got nowhere for you. Torches don't impress me, don't address me, don't stress me now.
Yeah, there's room for everything. You just gotta. There's just more people and less spots. Here, take it. I'll cut the process off later. Look at all the toys we got. It's fucking crazy. It's Christmas. I think that's all I got. Because it cancels it out when the lead vocal's going through, so it's not as loud. I don't do it all the time, I do it for one of them. The scrubber tool's more for, like, post and, like, getting everything perfect. Spoiled ass. Bro, Bullet sent me, look at this big ass box. Look at it, it's huge. Look. It's like fucking huge. This is what they sent in it. Fuckers. And some homeless dude picked it up off my front porch. I was like knocking the fuck out of my door, like, do you want this? I was like, alright, can I have it, please? Why are you in my apartment? Took me 30 minutes to unpack that shit. Yeah, I put all these on my master before I send them to mastering. Usually. I don't split any stereo, anything. Into mono because you lose, like, a lot of the processing that the producers do will be lost when you flip it into mono. I just have a good reference point. I've mixed a lot of songs. You just gotta mix a bunch of songs and you kind of get a good reference point. You mix 20 songs, you only got 20 songs to reference. I mean, a lot of options are relevant. A lot of people work in Ableton. A lot of producers mix where they work. You know? I like Float. I like this song. I like this song. Whatever works for you. Somebody was asking me about conspiracy theories. Where, like, a whole bunch of people died. And you gotta be some fucking, like, weird ass dude to, like, worry about that first.
These roses on our t-shirts fly like an angel made.
You don't like Pro Tools. I do pretty alright in it. It's pretty great. It just makes harmonies. Here, we'll do it right now. I'll show you that. Let's solo this. What key is the song in, actually, first? This. Float. A flat major. Plug in harmonic. G pitch shift. Harmony. The harmony effects, it's simple. Let me solo save the print track. So.
Floating, we on, do it for we, freedom. Floating, we on, do it for we.
And so you have scale interval, which lets you pick, like, the notes relatively. So this is an octave up. But you want to do, like, say you want to do a third. Oh no, I crashed the computer. Hold on, I think the internet's open, that's why. Alright, close that. Let me put this in loop real quick.
Floating, we on, do it for we, freedom. Floating, we on.
So I just made like a.
Do it for we, freedom. Floating, we on, do it for we, freedom.
But it's only like.
Floating, we on, do it for we, freedom. Floating, we on, do it for we, freedom. Floating, we on, do it for we, freedom. Floating, we on, do it for we, freedom.
Then you gotta, like, you hear the transition where it kind of feels like it's like auto-tuney, so I like move it, transition rate down, I naturalize it a little bit less, and.
Floating, we on, do it for we, freedom. Floating, we on, do it for we, freedom. Floating, we on, do it for we, freedom. Floating, we on, do it for we, freedom.
So, like, I'm changing the chords, and you could automate that. Like, you could add, so you go up to here if you want to change automation. And you could add, what would it be? I think it's chord. So you add chord name. That would be chord degree. So I add that to automation. And I could go into automation, put this in right. And as I'm changing it, it'll change forever. So I could go here, go to chord degree, boom. So now it's open, go to right. Good.
Floating, we all do it for we freedom. Floating, we all do it for we freedom. Floating, we all do it for we freedom. Floating, we all do it for we freedom.
So now all that automation just went in there, and when I play it again.
Floating, we all do it for we freedom. Floating, we all do it for we freedom. Floating, we all do it for we freedom. Floating, we all do it for we freedom.
So I worked with them. That's where I started. I worked in indie rock, and then I worked on 7 Pete Hertz. I learned a lot. Lots of stuff. And then if you want to like do some crazy like effects, put their crystallizer on there. You can like start messing with that.
Floating, we all do it for we freedom. 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 Floating, we all do it for we freedom.
What else can I do?
Floating, we all do it for we freedom. 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 Floating, we all do it for we freedom.
I always put this on like tracks and like the kind of like give them more robotic sound, like a little flanger. It's an effects plugin. I mean, if you just go to here, there's a lot of kind of like good starting points. I use the flangelizer a lot, but then I go down and make it like super low. Sometimes there's one on this one.
We all do it for we freedom. Floating, we all do it for we freedom. Floating, we all do it for we freedom. Floating, we all do it. Floating, we all do it for we freedom. Floating, we all.
So that's like the harmony engine, I guess, in a nutshell. It's on latch now. Once you do read once, it just sticks. So now if I do it again, like it'll change whatever I change and it'll stick. Reverb. I mean, I made 2 of my own on the IR, and I like them a lot. I just use a plate and a hall, and I kind of like create a send, and I put it on here, and it's right here. I send what I want, but that's the effects, so whatever. I don't really have a lot on there. This one already had reverb in it. It already sounds really good, so this isn't gonna sound good, but because like one thing you notice is like this sounds cool by itself, but you really gotta, if you're gonna do harmonies, it's gotta be. Like, that sounds cool there, but you have to do it to the chords in the song, or else it's gonna sound like fucking ass. So, which is what I do with like Thug's voice. I'm trying to think of, is there a song on Thugger Girls that I did it on? I don't think so. I did it on Speed Racer. I'm automating the chord degrees on the harmonic backgrounds, because if you put it in chord degrees, it stays in like the fourth of the scale. The fourth, what's it called, the scale? Step, whatever. So I just have it changing from all the steps. Like,
We are doing for freedom. Floating, we are doing for freedom. Floating, we are.
I just did that live because I like knew what the notes sounded like. So, well, normal harmonies are created by humans. But that's like that Bon Iver shit. Like, that's what he's doing. He's just automating harmony engine. Put everything app. Autotune should be the first plugin you put on anything, unless you have unless it's dynamics. Like, if you need to make it louder, because like Autotune catches better on a stronger signal. So if like you have a shitty vocal signal, it's gonna sound like shit. He sings them. It's different. I mean, manual is different than singing them. Let's see. What's a good song where I put harmonies on them? Let's see what I got on this drive that's I can play. Oh, I know. If you fuck the signal up before Autotune grabs it, Autotune's going to grab it differently. So you don't want to put any modulation or harmonic anything, which is what distortion is. It's just harmonics. So you don't want to add that because it's going to confuse the Autotune. Yeah, you should probably drop out. Go to my lectures instead. You dig? Oh no. What the fuck did I do in here? Make active. 7,500 on a Saint Laurent jacket. Just be careful when you jump in, yo. See, I had this on the whole song, but then I like rearranged it for him. Oh, hang on. Let us solo save this. I think it's command.
I ain't no cuffing, no action. The streets raised me. I'm a whole bastard.
So I put it on just the last hook here. I think I put it somewhere else too. No, it's just the last hook. So
7,500 on a Saint Laurent jacket. Bitch, be careful when you dumping your action. I ain't no sucker, I ain't cuffing, no action. The streets raised me. I'm a whole bastard.
It's country sounding, man. I don't know.
7,500 on a Saint Laurent jacket. Bitch, be careful when you dumping your action. I ain't no sucker, I ain't cuffing, no action. The streets raised me. I'm a whole bastard.
Just on that little last. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. What else did I use it on? I think I used it on FaceTime. But I used it a lot, and then I had to cut it back. Oh, special, I use it. Don't save. Virtual channels are just mimicking the effect that a console has, and each of those little steps is a different console. And it's just like the EQ curve that the console will give plus the noise. Oh yeah, I did it all over FaceTime. Oh shit, I forgot. This is actually kind of good. Hold on, let me just mute the beat because I don't want to solo everything. So let's save that.
Don't make the pain stop, baby. Is you gon' ride with me till the wheels off? Turn on.
It's good on the second verse right here.
Ride with me, ride. Tell the truth and don't you lie to me, lie to me. You know I need you on my side with me, side with me. Tell the truth and don't you lie to me, lie to me, lie to me. Baby, roll with me, roll with me, roll. Jumping that coupe and baby, codes with me, codes with me. If I was broke, she kicking doors with me, doors with me. Baby, roll with me, roll with me.
So I kind of love that. It was a lot louder when I did it the first time. Hold on. Let me solo. Yeah, it's not there to be heard, it's there to be felt, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's a higher pitch, so it's occupying a whole new frequency range that he's normally not occupying, so it's just there to like...
We got something special. We got something special. Yeah, we got something special.
It almost sounds like a reverb effect more than it sounds like an actual vocal when everything's in there.
Special. Yeah, we got something special. We got something special. I was finna text you, but I ain't wanna pest you. Even if we ain't together, I'm still coming to your rescue. Me, lie to me. You know I need you on my side with me, side with me. Tell the truth and don't you lie to me, lie to me. Baby, roll with me, roll with me. Jumping that coupe and baby, codes with me, codes with me. If I was broke, she kicking doors with me, doors with me. Baby, roll with me.
Is there like a gear nerd in here being weird and gear nerdy? Because I'll block him real quick. How do I get back to there? I hate that shit so much. I wasn't reading, so I don't know for sure. Being a gear nerd is funny because like all the information that you have is super objective. So you can say whatever you want, no one can argue with you, but then you can't mix for shit. So it's just a funny thing that you see all the time. Like obsessed with like a fucking preamp, but you can't like mix a song that anybody cares about. Auto-Tune 5, but it's gone now. I like the Neve 1079, but like those are like hard to fucking come across. I hate Avalons. I really do. Yeah, but I'm buying. I got 12 somewhere, and I haven't installed it yet. And I got all the new plugins, so I'm buying a new laptop. So I just gotta order it this week. I'm just playing old mixes. I'm not doing anything right now. This is one of my favorite weird situations I had to get into mixing. I always say see what you can do with the least amount of stuff, and then when you're at the most that you can do, then try and figure something else out.
Riding on a bike.
Now you don't need shit to get an internship.
She give me chills off a wheel. Hey, I'm the one with soul, and I know you're wrong. A real one for sure. I won't feel your coat. I won't feel like bone. Oh, no, no. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Look at that, stare right there. That stare right there. That stare right there. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when people put a lot of effects in on like the rough mixes, and they do it like this, where it's just straight up on the track. It's hard to mix around that because everything I do now changes everything that's in that plugin because it's affecting 100% of the signal, and it's built into the fucking track, which is why you always put stuff on Ascend. And so everything I did, like EQ wise and fucking whatever, de-essing, whatever, just made the track feel differently. So like it took forever just to get the vocals to sit right, and I couldn't touch anything on the track itself, which is like a pain in the ass because you don't want delay. Like the way the delays are recorded is something that you really can't change unless the artist was just using them to kind of like catch a vibe. But most of the time, like when artists are using delays, that's how they remember the song. So I live in an apartment. I can't have a sub in here. I get kicked the fuck out. Kick the fuck out. Oh no, this is the one I'm thinking of. Damn, that's the wrong song. I gotta call Dave up because we were supposed to set something up and.
Don't make him mad, put a savage on his savage chicks. Don't make him mad, put a.
So, I got a 2-track beat for this.
Don't make him mad, put a savage on his savage.
And I had to like crush the fuck out of it.
Don't make him mad, put a savage on his savage chicks. Don't make him mad, put a savage on his savage.
And EQ it and like, cause it just sounded so lopsided. Cause like, look, you can just tell by looking at it sometimes. And I mean, it's a great beat. It just felt really lopsided and like 2-dimensional. So I had to like kind of bring out certain sounds, but this is all I had to work with. So I just did a little bit of like multi-band limiting to kind of like limit any of these like super high peaks. Cause look how high like the kick, or I think it's.
Shot that boy so many times he caught on fire.
Oh, it's that fucking like clap or some shit. It's like way higher than everything else. So so you kind of completely lost all the synths the first time I heard the song, and then now you can hear them.
Shot that boy so many times he caught on fire. Every single night I'm spitting fire. Trying to count my private baby, watch on. I'm tired of when I need 2 threesomes. I need a threesome. Girl, give me a threesome.
Most of the beats I mix are made in FL Studio, just like everybody else. I don't know a lot of people that produce in Pro Tools. Ableton, Logic, FL mostly. A lot of times I mix the beat, yes. Most of the time. The Thug stuff is harder because it's harder to track down because he does so many songs. And with a lot of producers. And a lot of them are, I think most people have cracked everything. The vocals on this are so fire. I really had to do like.
You live to love me, or could it be that you would rather live without? So tell me, do you live to love me, or could it be that you would rather live without? Live without this concrete love is bringing me down, but I still want you around.
Take the reverb out. Okay, hold on.
Do you live to love me, or could it be that you would rather live
How many reverbs do I have on
So tell me, do you live to love me, or could it be that you would rather live without this concrete love is bringing me down, but I still want you around. Do you live to love me, or could it be that you would rather live without? So tell me, do you live to love me, or could it be that you would rather live without this concrete love is bringing me down, but I still want you.
There's 3 different reverbs on this right now. There's this one, this one, and then at the very end I just added like a tiny little bit of this because I just felt like it could be a little wetter.
Do you live to love me, or could it be that you would rather live without? So tell me, do you live to love me, or could it be that you would rather?
Different sense. Muddiness is always like around 300, 250, 300. Doesn't matter what it is. If it sounds muddy, that's what it is. Hold on. Let me look something up for you. Chris in Control. Hold up. There's a chart. There's a frequency chart that y'all should just download, and it helps you kind of like put a name for everything if you can't do it yourself. It's like I used to buy it for all my interns. I made copies for all them. This guy. If you just look up frequency chart music, it tells you like what each one kind of means, like a little area. So you know, like kind of like from here to here is like bottom, and then you got like warmth, and you see mud and fullness. So it's like there's a little like whatever, and then it says where each instrument kind of resides mostly, and like the outskirts right there, like kind of where it can like barely reach, and then what note it's actually corresponding to. Yeah, but I literally just Googled frequency chart music. It's the first fucking thing. All the time. Every single day I go against that. I mean, there's no rules, you know what I mean? I boot like on all the Nest Night shit. I boosted. I had to boost like 300, which is what I normally cut for Thug. You know. Alright, and I had to like DS a lot more because I don't really like DSing, but she had a lot of like sibilance because I'm guessing the mic and the preamp kind of picked that up. It's like the one thing that you notice with like really good mic preamp compressor combinations is the high end is never harsh. It always feels more airy and friendly, and it doesn't hurt. With like a shitty mic pre combination, you get a lot of like really horrible sibilant high end that is painful at around like 8K ish a lot of the time. And then you're like de-essing a shitload more and cutting a lot, and like it fucking hurts. It just hurts, and I don't really like that. I mean, that's where you notice that. That's the one place that I seem to notice like the quality difference in mic choice and people who know how to like set a compressor. Yep. Unless it's like super loud, and then I put it on its own. Like, I'll give it two buses sometimes. Like a really compressed one and a really like open one by itself. So I've been like working in clip gain a lot more than working over here when I have like a full file like this that I could like just kind of like drag and like kind of level real quick, because it helps me. It's a little bit more visual and it helps because you can constantly see it. It's almost like having a fader here instead of over here. It's almost like looking at this window all the time, which I never use. I never use this window because it's fucking. I only have one laptop screen. When he sings without autotune, he sounds fine. But when you sing with autotune and you take the autotune off, no one sounds good because they hear themselves with autotune. Hey, what do you eat? Here's a different toy for now. My trick for kicks is to make them like 5 dBs louder than everything else in the drum kit. That's literally the main trick. And then I end up cutting a lot of like the boxy sound out. But a lot of these kicks already sound really good. It's just about giving them their space to like push through the mix. Because when you start to like compress the mix, they start to make everything else duck if you don't give them enough space to breathe. I don't know what you mean by that.
Oh, how on the hands like an MCM. I'm rapping an MCM. Double tapping bitch in Instagram. I want this like a ceiling fan. Life is a test, I'm a guinea pig. Blue and you look like Mega Man.
Boxiness is around 500 usually. Usually, again, no rules, but usually boxiness is 500 to 1,000 somewhere. You just hunt for it and like cut it out. I don't do additive EQing. I don't really do it except for like a dB or two when I have to at the very end of a mix. But like for the most part, like I'd say 80% of my EQing is cutting. Boxy, like it sounds like a cardboard box. It sounds like this. It's terrible. Boxy. Like that sucks. That's a fucking horrible. Anyways.
Oh, I want the hands like an MCM. I'm rapping an MCM. Double tapping bitch in Instagram. I want this like a ceiling fan. Life is a test, I'm a guinea pig. Blue and you look like Mega Man. Over money, Sega Genesis. I'm stacking that money and flipping it. We only knew one way to get it. All of these niggas in big rooms. Pull up with choppers and stick them. Wouldn't they be like a sprinter? My diamonds, I wanted they winter. Busting your bitch down the mid
like one of these every day that I sell a bunch of t-shirts. How about that? If y'all buy a bunch of t-shirts, I'll do one of these. I could do this for like an hour every day and not run out of fucking old mixes to talk about. Let's see. See, I did a version of I Get the Bag, but I don't think they used mine. There's no way they used mine because I heard of the clean version, so. But. No, they met and they did what's it called together in Europe?
Scooch. Drop top. What's up? You get the bag and fumble it. I get the bag and flip it and tumble it.
No, this is my version they didn't pick.
Cash, and the car came with a blunt in it. Lil' mama a thot, and she got ass. That she gon' fuck up her bag. Pull up to the spot, living too fast. Dropping the dumb in the stash. In Italy, not too far, hoes they DM me. Draw at the top, when it's cold, but you feel the heat. Be real with me, keep it 100, just be real with me. Eat it up like it's a feast. They say the dope on fleek.
Percocet pill on me. I saw my neck, baby, chill with me. Them niggas that fucked in the back don't say nothing. Them niggas a kill for me. Back as I can on my sleep, on fleek. I can't spit on that patty for lead. For leech, I'm a dog in my tree. Hop out the fog and leave. I put them bricks in the fender. My bitch, she walk around like she Chris Jenner. I used to break in the hammer. They take up running like the game of Temple. It's simple, I play with a mental. Mama said she saw me on Jimmy Kimmel. Mama, Canada, cause I'm a money symbol. Walking with these rats, I'm looking crippled. Money, fuck on that bitch, then I temple. A nickel for me to take pictures. Nickel. Not from LA, but I cripple.
Anyways, I don't know. Metro asked me to do it, and there was like a rush job, and I did like it as I think I did it in his house one day, and I just kind of like tried to clean the vocals up more than they had it, and like get a lot of the distortion out. And I think that was kind of the sound that they were going for. So I think they just went with theirs, which is cool. Oh man, I can't get mad. I just did it as a favor to Metro because he was like, yo, do this quick. Doesn't mean I don't listen to my version. If you know what I'm saying. Look at this dog. It's crazy. It's a penguin. They just record distorted. That's it. It's like actual real distortion on the vocal chain because somebody's not fixing the vocal chain, whoever recorded it. Sometimes you mix on spec, sometimes you get paid to do a trial. But if it's my friends, I just fucking do it. Like, what the fuck? Dog, if you want the Migos distorted sound, I think they are very much successful in despite of that distorted sound. In spite of it. Because the songs are just really good. Because most of the mixing that's done on that is to fix that sound. Now, Travis's distortion is post-recording. It's in the mix on purpose. It's an art choice there. That's two different things. Versus like not knowing how to get like a good clean vocal. Y'all have some wild questions, man.
I ain't got no motherfucking expectations. I learned to shut down.
7 to 8 RMS is way too loud for a beat that you're exporting for someone else. I mean, it kind of depends. No. Miko's got a whole real-ass studio, man. That sound comes from the engineer not fixing the preamp. That's all. It could be intentional, I don't know. I'm not in the studio, but it's just like... Because I used to record the Migos all the time. They just want to rap. They're not thinking about that. It should be as loud as you can get it with every piece feeling individual and not hurting your ears. I mean, that's how I mix. I'm like, this is as loud as I can get it. It doesn't hurt. Cool. Yeah, man, I'm supposed to be mixing for him. I'm going to be in Atlanta this weekend, so I'm going to pull up on Thug and them and see what the fuck is up. Like Lil Baby and Young Boy and shit. I was talking to them. No, I'm good. I got actual like shit to do in Atlanta. That's why I'm going. But I'm obviously gonna pull up and work with my people. No, I mix like this is how I mix. Headphones like all the way up. It hurts, but then the song comes out better. But I wouldn't recommend that for everybody. I think it's just because I've been in loud studios for God knows how long. I'm just used to it. I started mixing quieter for a really long time. I used to mix on these at like 1/8 volume. But now like I'm not in a studio anymore. I'm in an apartment, so there's a lot more noise to drown out. And like reflections. Like the louder it is and the closer you are to speakers, you're not going to hear all the reflections. No, don't worry about my ears. I don't want to do this when I'm 40, 50, 60. Fuck, I look like mixing rap as a 6-year-old man. If I'm producing or something, I'd be tight. Or like doing something bigger, but like if I'm just mixing, the fuck. First of all, your ears are gonna be fucked at 60 anyway. I don't know if you guys understand that. Every time you hear something loud that's like a very loud, quick noise, like a fucking siren or some shit, you lose hearing for the rest of your life. So unless you want to like walk around with like headphones on all the time, you know. Yeah, man. Music isn't for young people to make, or old people to make. Yeah, I mean, it's just an inevitability. You're just eventually gonna basically be deaf if you work in music. I mean, unless you're one of those people that like, you know, like a lot of mastering engineers who like have to hear every little fucking 0.05 decibel change. Like those dudes walk around with crazy headphones and earbuds and shit to protect their ears 24/7. Yeah, I'm a fucking nerd, man. I mean, I am a nerd, but like not to that level. I can't handle that shit. I can't like make sure I eat every day. You're talking about like making sure I fucking put headphones in every time I leave the house. Okay, so my master bus changes, but for some reason, every time I show you guys a mix, it's pretty much the same. So I have a compressor, and it's just there to catch like peaks, and it slow attack, middle release, so it lets the kick through, but catches kind of like some of the later peaks. And then I have like a super heavy compression, slow attack again, high ratio, high pass filter, and then but the mix percentage is 7%. So it's like a parallel, but I just mix the taste, and I have like a tape machine just for like, you know, because it does something. And then I do like a EQ just to like get out those last little frequencies that start coming out the more you compress. And then I put like an imager on there because it does something and it sounds good. You know how that works. Put it on the. I fuck with the mix percentage until it's right. I've gone as high as like 25 on like a hyper compress, and then I use the Slate FGX on every mix no matter what, because I trust it. And I'm not trying to go to Isotope because I don't trust it. It's just too many buttons. Isotope at 8 million buttons, I'm not trying to learn. Too washed for that. Yeah, I use Logic to make beats. Beats with a Z. Z beats. Beats. Downloads. My favorite song I made. I heard X Bitch in the club. That was kind of tight. This is a new artist I'm working with.
Yeah. I'm too lifted, I'm too gifted. Yeah, Carlos lifted, that's my vision. That's my baby, catch my babies. They don't get this, they don't feel me, they don't hear me.
They turn into nonsense, oh yeah. If I get in the crowd up, I'ma get at you real quick. Lipstick, all on my t-shirt.
Won't you give me the runaround, give me the runaround, give me that pussy like right now. Right now, I don't see no reason. When I'm putting the light down, I'ma get in the bite down.
I don't wanna make other sense. And I ain't shit. Step K. Them other niggas that be trying. I always know the truth.
Downtown, always knowing your extension. I always know that you be heavy. In the middle of the night, I take flight, but I can't do the teardrops. When I expect it to take time, think about it, I would chillin'.
And I ain't know that you was in it to win it. I'm Scottie Pippen with the finish. The bitches tried to show a whole high. I had to hit her with a waist out. Nonsense, clock in on me. Try stick, chop it up. You wasn't thinking that they playing bingo, but it's still like the lingo. Y'all ran up straight to a sinkhole. I'm a guy in a feast code.
Oh my God, let me bridge other side of the street. I'm alive when I speak, jump dive when I beat, deep dive, free fly, outside when we eat. I don't hide, my guys gonna ride on time.
We check every ride through the city now. I jump out that plane, I'm a vision now. The chicken with you looking so exquisite, didn't need it to complete the voucher. I had to ride on a couple missions just to fix it. I can see it clear though.
I had to jump when I'm playing nothing but percussion, but I'm bringing the stereo. Other side of material, all that shit be so delirious.
I have to shut down the beat email, guys. I'm sorry.
And I've been shifting, I've been thinking about it. How I could really get my roll on. My concentration, it ain't never been clouded. Sometimes the feelings I like go off.
I'm too lifted, I'm too gifted. Yeah. Carlos lifted, that's my vision. That's my baby, catch my babies. They don't get this, they don't feel me, they don't hear me.
They turn into nonsense, oh yeah. If I get in the crowd up, I'ma get at you real quick. Lipstick, all on my t-shirt.
Won't you give me the runaround, give me that pussy like right now. Right now, I don't see no reason. When I'ma put in the light down, I'ma get in the bite down.
Yeah, just email me at management@AlexTumay.com or mixing@AlexTumay.com. I gotta figure out how to get back into the account because we got locked out of it, but I'll figure it out tomorrow. So you're limited to but I'll explain gain staging as easily as I can. This is how much space you have, right? This is my final mix, right? This is it. This is all the space. It can only go this loud. All the sounds all together. So instead of when you get to here and you're like, oh, man, my kick needs to be louder, and a lot of people just make their kick louder, and then when your kick gets to, now your kick's up here, now we're up here, but it can't go up here. The sound stops here. And that here gets real fucking messy, and if you have a limiter, when the kick goes up, hey, you live in an apartment, man, there's a lot of people. So when the kick gets this loud, it's pushing everything else back away. Or it's distorting. One or the other. So, what you want to do, if you're like, if everything's about this loud, let's say, and you're like, man, I need the kick to be louder, your instinct shouldn't be to make the kick louder, it should be to make everything else quieter. Now, gain staging is starting off quiet. So, you start off and, like, say you have your instrumental that's this loud, you lower all the instruments and now it's about this loud. And then when you add your vocals, you're here, and then you just lower them to fit, and it gets in, and then everything's kind of here. And now you start to mix, and you start to, like, give everything more space, and you get everything to the level you want, and it's going to be around here. And that's when you use your master bus to kind of make everything louder together. Because if you're out of space by the time you get to this point, your final master bus, print bus, whatever you want, everything's going to sound bad, no matter what you do. It's going to sound small and dark and compressed, and everything's going to be fighting for the same amount of space that you just don't have. Your bus compressor shouldn't be crushing your stereo bus unless it's the effect that you're going for. But if you're giving yourself headroom and enough space, yeah. So I bring everything down about 10 dB itself when I bring it in, and then I'll lower the buses also. And then as I'm getting closer to being finished, if I'm not running out of space, that's when I start to raise the buses up together. And that's usually a good move. Hey, what are you doing, man? Sit down. What a good dog. Got you. Caught a fish. The ugliest fish in the world. Anyways, I think that's it for today. It was like an hour. I'll do this tomorrow, I guess, before I go to Atlanta. Okay. Love you. Bye.